teacher at Mount Vernon High School in Mount Vernon, Iowa. We got involved with VREP this year. This is our first year with VREP. And just a little bit about our involvement with VREP. We've started with only a few students, probably about 12 in the program altogether. Really, it's been an unstructured discovery type of a year for us in terms of virtual reality. We're very excited about moving forward, but once again, when we started, we had no idea what we were doing. I showed up, I'm a first-year guy at Mount Vernon. They said, hey, we got this real big TV and this real sweet computer that you get to put in your classroom. I said, that's awesome, let's do it. What do I got to do to get this program going? And what we found is that there is a little bit of sink and swimming that happened with our kids. And I'm speaking a lot to administrators and teachers here, kind of how the program went with us, so that, you know, and where we're going to go in the future. But it was a little bit unstructured, and we did have some sink and swimming. And what we found is that some kids rose, some kids didn't, and that was kind of one of the things about the program that we learned, that as we go forward next year, we're going to try to make it a little bit more structured in the beginning and give kids kind of give them a base and then let them go off and do what they want to do. The student I'm going to talk about today that's done the work for us for this project, Forrest, was definitely a swimmer. Seniors, juniors, and sophomores all through the program. We were pretty senior dominant this year, but we do have some younger kids coming up that are doing some great things. A kid by the name of Nick Laberco has been a guide for VREP for Dr. Pickering and for Mr. Kozak. And he's doing some nice things, and I think the key for us is the fact that we want to reach out to the kids at all levels, from freshmen even into the middle school. We want to reach out and get those kids interested so that we can continue to build. We don't want to be top heavy and lose all the kids that started the momentum and then, you know, have nothing to build from. So I think for any administrators, teachers involved in thinking about getting involved with VREP, make sure that you open this up as much as you can to the younger grades and to your younger kids, so that they can really be building, because we are in such an early stage of this that you want to get those younger kids going. The really nice thing at Mount Vernon is we have complete administrative support. From our superintendent, Dr. Pam Buell, and our principal, Steve Brand, we have some phenomenal support coming from the administration, just phenomenal. And it's really giving us an opportunity to move forward at a rapid rate. Forrest Scott would be here right now presenting and doing probably a much better job than I am. He's a lot smarter than me. His ACT score was probably twice what mine was, but that's okay. He is in St. Louis at the World Robotics Competition. I don't know if anybody here is involved in robotics, but it's a big deal. It's in St. Louis, and it is the World Robotics Competition. I was giving our robotics sponsor kind of a little bit of a kid that, you know, St. Louis, that's a world competition. He said there are teams from Canada, so it is world. He has worked with Dr. Pickering and Mr. Kozak as a guide for VREP while presenting to schools in Cincinnati, not Wisconsin. That was me making an error. In Cincinnati, in Ohio. He's been an intern at Rockwell Collins, and he will attend Iowa State University next year. Forrest, the picture you see in front of you is Forrest being a guide in my advanced computer business applications class. We did a little bit of Blender. We're making the gingerbread man, and he's been a phenomenal teacher. So what I want to touch on in my presentation is what our focus is trying to be at Mount Vernon. Not only are we wanting to create really cool 3D things, but what's the educational value? How can we integrate this into curriculums? How can we integrate this into the classroom so that we really see that educational value? And what happened is, Mr. Eric had a problem, okay? Mr. Eric is our science teacher, our chemistry teacher, all right? And he taught a lesson on electron orbitals, okay? Electron orbitals are, any science people in here, raise your hand if you're a science person. Thank you, because I have no idea what I'm talking about. So if you want to help me out a little bit with maybe this little lesson that we're going to talk about, the rule of 8, octets, electron orbital, I mean, this is beyond me, but I'm going to do my best. But anyway, Mr. Eric had a problem. He tried his best to teach a lesson on the 3 dimensions of the electron orbitals, okay? And how there's different orbitals, different paths the electrons go in, and how can he express that and show that to his students? He does a lesson where he actually gets up on the whiteboard and starts drawing the first section, the P section, or the P whatever's, and then there's the other whatevers. I might just call them the whatevers. But anyway, he draws the orbit, and he draws the other orbits inside, then he draws another big circle, and then the orbits inside, and then another big circle, and the orbits inside, and it ends up looking like a mess on the whiteboard. And so then he refers to the textbook. Okay, well, let's look at the textbook, and maybe you can get a better idea of what these orbitals look like. So he pulls out the textbook, opens it up to those pages, and they do a decent job of showing what these electron orbital, spheres, whatever, look like. So Forrest was asked for help. He asked Forrest for help, and this is what Forrest did. Okay, I'm going to pull this up right now. Forrest found a solution to Mr. Eric's problem. This is a model that he created using Blender and Vizard. Everybody can see that in front of you. All right, you want to see what hydrogen looks like, or helium, I guess. Is that the atomic number for 2? Let's go. Hydrogen, there we go. Here is a look at these electron orbitals, the p level or whatever. The S, the P, the D, the F, it's all up here. Science people, please forgive me. Okay. Helium, as you can see, now we're seeing orbitals grow. The atomic number is 3. Here's the configuration. Let's keep going up the line. I don't know how to pronounce that. Let's go to the next one. Boron. There we go. And what you're seeing is these orbitals. You can see the path of the electrons inside, and it's just the same idea as the PowerPoint presentation, or you can go back to the pictures in the book. It's the same idea as the pictures, but now you can rotate it around, you can look at it, you can do some nice things there. Let's go back to the Okay, so we can jump to, what's an atomic number? Anybody wants to jump to? Just shout it out. 12. There we go, that's magnesium. Okay, I didn't know that, now you know it. Okay, what's another atomic number you want to jump to? 39. You're not at 118. Unfortunately, we only go to 95. I don't know that. Whoa, there's yttrium. I'm not quite sure what that is. Okay, so there we go. There's the electron orbitals, and it'll take you all the way up to an atomic number of 95. Forrest did a nice job of creating a feature where you can build these orbitals, and you can make it opaque so you can see through them, or you can make it a very black situation. Now that looks really, really, really cool to me, but I have no idea what it means as a business guy. Okay? And you can keep building and keep building and keep building and keep building and keep building. He made the models themselves, the shapes themselves, in Blender. As everybody knows, most people that are involved with VREP know Blender. But he used Vizard as an engine to actually build. And he wrote the code over here, as you can see. He actually wrote the code. It's only literally about, I think, 120 lines of code. Now, if you want to break them down to be much more specific, there is a drop-down menu up here that has all the S1, 1S, I don't know what that means, B2, don't know what that means, D, whatever. Okay, so that's Forrest's model. And we showed that to Mr. Eric, and he said, aha, that solves my problem. I can now show these things. And we can also render it in 3D if you have one of the TVs in the back, and it will come out actually a little bit. So that does solve some problems. I'll go to the highest bidder. I think we'll start the bidding at $1 to any science teachers, and we'll go from there. You can have my flash drive. $3 right there. All right, that's good. That's gas for the way home. But thank you so much for listening to me. I really, 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 really think the VREP initiative is so important. And as you can see, our focus at Mount Vernon is how can we put this in the classrooms? How many students can we get to learn from this model, and how can we move forward educationally? So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be hanging out in the back. Thank you very much.